All right. Good morning, ladies, or good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you watch me. Before I go any further, I'm going to do a quick tech check and make sure that things are, working exactly as they should be. If you can see me, if you can hear me, comment hello down below. If you can see me, if you can hear me. There we go. Fantastic. We are live. All right. So, as you can tell by the title of this week's masterclass, what we're going to cover is how to lose weight and lower your A1C with limited time. Okay. So, this is something that I polled. I think it was Wednesday. I did a poll in the group and gave you ladies a chance to vote on which one you wanted to see the most. Okay, between two different topics, this topic and another topic called how to create good habits. Now, it was pretty close. So the next masterclass is going to be how to create good habits. Okay, sorry, I'm just getting this up. I've got a bunch of notes in front of me today because we've got lots of things to discuss, and I want to make sure that I'm not gonna miss anything. Okay, I can see there's a bunch of you watching right now. You're gonna see me refer to my phone quite a lot because I can see comments, but I can't see names, and that's no good, is it? So I'm gonna have to refer to here. So Danielle, good morning. Shelley, good morning. Angela, good morning. I hope you're having a fantastic week. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. So let's get started. If you are watching me live right now, comment live down below. If you're watching me on the replay, like most of you will be at this point, there's over 6,000 of you inside this group, which is absolutely mind-blowing. So most of you will be watching this on the replay. So if you are, comment replay down below. And just a bit of an expectation from me. If you've got any questions, if you've got any, concerns about any of the things that we're just about to discuss, if you're confused about anything, then comment that down below. I don't want you to leave any more confused than when you came. So if you are confused, if you're lost, anything like that, please do comment those questions and concerns down below so I can answer them so that you can understand whatever it is that we're talking about. All right. So we're going to be splitting this up into two main components. Okay, we've got some belief shifting, first of all, and then we're going to move on to some practical implementation. Okay, practical implementation. All right, so let's start off first of all with some belief shifting, and right in here I've called it the harsh truth. Okay, now none of you ladies that are watching this right now, none of you are objectively too busy to lose weight and lower your A1C. None of you are too busy to achieve your goals of losing 20 to 100 pounds and achieving remission. Yeah, achieving an A1C below 5.6 and getting off meds. None of you. The truth is, it doesn't really require much time, much additional time, especially if you know how to simplify the process. Okay, and that's why I struggled a little bit with putting together this week's masterclass, because whenever we work with the ladies, on our team inside of the Diabetic Inner Circle, which is our one-to-one coaching program, I get to learn a lot about that person and their daily schedule, what they get up to and their commitments, how many kids they've got, taking the kids to school, bringing their kids home, after school activities, grandkids, they'll have to take care of their grandkids, are they homeschooling, are they having to take care of their parents or grandparents? There's so much nuance within this that requires an individualized approach, but I'm going to try my best today to create something which is helpful for all 6,000 of you. But that's why, bear in mind a lot of what we do, because I genuinely believe that if you know how to simplify the process and if you've got guidance and support, Doesn't matter what your schedule looks like. You can still lose weight. You can still lower your A1C and achieve remission. Okay, so I don't have time to go grocery shopping. I don't have time to prepare meals. How many of you right now are guilty of saying or thinking this? I don't have time to insert something important, whatever that may be, right? Now, this might be hard to hear, but you are using time as an excuse to make yourself feel better about doing nothing. Instead of what is actually happening, you are not prioritizing you or your health and wellness in order to make the time. You are not prioritizing you or your health and wellness enough to make the time. And again, that might be difficult to hear, but how many of you would make the time for someone else? How many of you would make the time for someone else? Your kids, your grandkids, your husband, your best friend, but not you. Other people, but not you. Putting other people before yourself. Now, that's got nothing to do with time. You might think it is, but it hasn't. It's got more to do with you and you prioritizing you enough to make the time, perhaps say no sometimes, to give yourself the self-care and self-love. Okay? Now, like I said, some of you might be ready to accept that. Some of you may not, but it's going to be difficult to move past if not. If Brody, my girlfriend, my partner, rang me up on a Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. and said, "Hey, do you want to go for lunch?" I would say, "No, I'm too busy. I can't go for lunch. Can't go for lunch." If Brody, my girlfriend, rang me up on the same day at 12:30 and said, "I've been in a car collision. Can you come?" I would say, absolutely. I would drop everything and I would run out the door. I have not all of a sudden gained more time. The clocks haven't gone backwards. My priorities, however, have shifted. Okay. All right. Now, this is the belief shifting part of this massacre. Something that might be a little bit difficult to hear, but it's the truth. As long as you know how to simplify the process, no one is too busy. And as long as you are able to prioritize you a little bit more, that's not selfish. Doesn't mean that other people have got to miss out, because that's a fallacy. It's an argument, false opinion. False opinion, maybe the wrong word, but it's a fallacy. It's not true. And that's because what's better for you and everyone else around you? A version of you that's, 150 pounds, whatever your goal weight is, 150, 170, 180 pounds, with your type 2 diabetes in remission, healthy and happy, or the version of you in 10 years from now where nothing has changed, where you're desperately unhappy, miserable, no energy, battling health complications, and needing care. It's not selfish. In fact, it is actually selfish for you to not take care of you. Okay? All right. Now, let's move on to some of the practical implementation of this. Now, the importance of planning and preparation. Okay, now, the busier you are, the less free time that you have, the more you are going to depend upon your level of preparation and planning in order to be successful. Let me say that again. The busier you are, the less time you have, the more you are going to depend upon your level of planning, preparation, organization in order for you to be successful in achieving these goals. weight loss, lower A1C, remission. If you ignore this, you will very likely never achieve your goals. Being honest. Okay, now planning, preparation is a very broad term. When I say that, what I mean is when it comes to your health and wellness, it can mean many different things in regards to practical implementation, a specific action. For some people, it might mean putting dinner in the crock pot before you go to work. So when you get home, it's cooked, it's ready, it's prepared. You don't have to do an awful lot. One example of many. Another example would be planning your week's dinners ahead of time. So you get home from work, you're tired, somewhat overwhelmed. You've had a challenging day. You haven't got to stand there and think about what you're going to cook. You already know. You've already got the stuff that you need. You already know what you're going to cook. I'm going to think about it. Just do it. As opposed to not having a clue what you're going to eat when you get home. There's such a thing as decision fatigue. All you've been doing all day is making decisions, making choices, doing things, being busy. You get home, you haven't got any juice left to really sit there and make, a good choice. So instead you reach for something that's easy and convenient. Make a poorer choice, which leads to the overconsumption of calories and carbs, for instance, which leads to the lack of result. If that happens multiple times a week, you get to the end of the week and you're surprised as to why the scales have gone up and your blood sugars are higher. Okay? There's so many examples. Taking your lunch to work so that you're not going to the cafeteria or grabbing takeout. I could go on all day, but your level of planning and preparation is somewhat nuanced to you. But there has to be some level of planning and preparation, especially the busier that you are. Especially the busier that you are. The busier that you are, the less time that you have, the more planning and preparation that has to be in place. That doesn't take tons of time. You've all got the time. Just need to make it a priority. Okay? Now, bear in mind that 90% of the progress that you make in regards to weight loss and a lower A1C will be as a result of diet and nutrition. 90% will be as a result of diet and nutrition. So make that a priority, not exercise. Make that a priority. Exercise is great. That's awesome. We should all do some form of exercise. But for now, focus on the diet and nutrition because that's what's going to get you 90% of the result. Okay. All right. Does that make sense, ladies? Does that make sense? If everything that we've already spoken about up until this point makes perfect sense, comment a 1 down below. All right. We won't move on until we've got, at least a few 1s. Okay. At least a few 1s. And then we'll move on to the next portion, which will be even more a little bit nuanced. Okay. Laurie, 1. Fantastic. Fantastic. If it doesn't make sense, whether you're watching live or on the replay, let me know down below. Especially if you're on the replay, because there's going to be, there's 10 people watching live at the minute. There's 6,000 of you in here. So the majority of you will be watching on the replay. So comment a 1. And if it doesn't make sense, let me know. All right. Cool. Sip of water because it's getting warm, and then we'll move on. All right. Cool. Breaking bad habits that rob you of your time and energy. Okay. Breaking bad habits that rob you of your time and energy. You know what these are. Okay. It could be getting home from work and, sitting down on the sofa. You think, I'm just going to sit down for 10 minutes. Right, I'm just going to sit down for 10 minutes. And that 10 minutes becomes maybe, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes. It doesn't matter what it is. But you need to be able to identify what these are. And most of you will have these. Most of you. There might be there might be a few of you watching this that can't think of one, but many of you will. Okay. So let's go through some of the steps required to, break a bad habit that robs you of your time and energy. Okay. So I don't want to scroll down then. Ignore that. First step. Attempt to make it invisible. What I mean by that is reduce exposure. Remove the cues of your bad habits from your environment. Okay, remove the cues of your bad habits from your peripherals, sight, environment. Okay, you are far less likely to do it if it is out of sight and out of mind. Okay, one example would be, this is diet and nutrition related too. Okay, it's got nothing to do with time and energy, but let's say you walk past a packet of cookies on the kitchen counter. Okay, there's a packet of cookies on the kitchen counter. If you walk past those cookies 100 times, how many times out of the 100 are you going to reach for the cookies and eat a few? 1, 2, 3, however many. Whereas if the cookies weren't there to begin with, how much less likely are you therefore to eat cookies that day? Just one example, okay? I know that's got nothing to do with time and energy, but that's just the first example that came to mind, okay? So make it invisible. Remove the cues, okay? Number 2, make it unattractive, okay? Reframe your mindset around whatever this habit may be, this action. Something that happens. A habit is just something that happens continuously, not necessarily something that happens subconsciously, like biting your nails, but just something that is recurring, repeating. Okay, make it unattractive. Highlight the benefits of avoiding your bad habits. Highlight the benefits of avoiding your bad habits. What does that mean you're going to be able to achieve? What does that mean for you? If you was to continue to take this action, do this thing, what negative outcome is that going to lead to? Okay, so make it invisible, make it unattractive. Last but not least, make it difficult. Increase friction. Increase the number of, steps, not just steps as in walking, but, the process, how easy it is for you to take action on that bad habit. Increase the number of steps between you and your bad habits. Make it more difficult to do, whatever it may be. All right? Does that make sense, ladies? And again, you ladies need to be able to reflect upon, what this looks like for you, what these habits may be. There's a comment here saying, this dang phone, from Shelley. I'm not too sure if you're referring to that being, something that robs you of time and energy, or whether you're actually having problems with your phone. But either or, phone is an example which some of you may be able to resonate with. All right. Does that make sense? If yes, comment bad habits down below, and then we'll move on. We're almost ready to wrap this up, ladies. Okay, it's quite a short one today. Quite a short one. It's impossible for me to cover this in great detail in a way which is going to apply to all of you, because you are also individual, again, in your routine, schedule, commitments, all entirely different. And therefore, you're going to need a slightly more individualized approach. Okay. Shelley, my phone is a time sucker. All right. I'm sure many people can relate to that. Danielle, bad habits, fantastic. Kathy, bad habits. Melissa, bad habits. Cool. Awesome, ladies. Awesome. All right. If, any of you would, like some extra support, and guidance with, figuring some of this out, comment coaching down below, and, we can find a time to, simply sit down for 5 to 10 minutes on Zoom and discuss that again. So I can give you some tailored support. Sit down, we can have a coffee together or a bottle of water, depending on the temperature, but just have a chat and speak about that, chat about that, so I can understand a little bit more and perhaps give you some advice. Comment coaching down below if you would like to take advantage of that, but that's entirely up to you. Okay. If you ladies have, found this helpful, if you have found this helpful, comment helpful down below. Okay. If you have got, again, I know I sound like a broken record, any questions, concerns, then comment that down below too. This part is going to take the most, to be honest. Everything that we spoke about with you, shifting some priorities and giving yourself the self-care and love required for you to spend the time on you. Prioritize you. If there's whether it be conscious or subconscious lack of worthiness inside, then that's going to make it difficult for you to do the things that are good for you, because that goes against everything that you feel about yourself. So that's might need some work, right? That's fine. That's okay. This journey is not a race. This journey is not a race. It doesn't matter how long it takes to get to your goal weight and achieve that A1C. All that matters is that you get there in a way that is sustainable, that you can sustain, not just for the next 6, 9, 12 months, but the rest of your life. A lifestyle change. Okay? All right. Awesome, ladies. Lots of helpfuls. Oh, we've even got it extremely helpful and a very helpful. Ooh, okay. Let me catch up. See who's here. All right. Cynthia, extremely helpful. Melissa, helpful. Danielle, helpful. Kathy, very helpful. Awesome, ladies. Fantastic. Listen, I'm going to wrap it up here. Otherwise, I'll be going on for another 5-10 minutes. You ladies know me. I hope you have a fantastic day, a fantastic week. These are something we are going to continue to aim to do, on a weekly basis. Sometimes we might skip a week, depending on work that we're doing with our clients inside of the inner circle. But we aim to do them each and every week. All right. The next one will be how to create good habits. Okay, it's a 4-step process. Okay, dead easy, dead simple. It's going to make a lot of sense. Okay. All right. Awesome, ladies. Take care. See you soon. Au revoir. Au revoir.